Well, let's unpack more on these issues. I'm joined now by Sina Azodi, who is an adjunct professor of international affairs at George Washington University. He specializes in Iranian foreign policy, and he joins me live from Washington, D.C. Sina, thank you so much for joining us on the Al Jazeera News Hour. I'd like to unpack some of the issues that were touched on in Osama's reporting. The foreign minister of the new government in Damascus says that Iran must not, quote, spread chaos in Syria. What does that message say about Iran's potential future influence in Syria?
Well, I think that the new Syrian government certainly is not happy with the Iranian involvement in Syria. At the end of the day, Iranians use the same pretext of these so-called, what the Iranian side calls takfiris or radical forces, to send volunteers to fight on behalf of Assad's government. I'm not surprised that they're not happy with Iranians. And Iranians are certainly view this as a potential threat to their security, because Assad was one of the very few Arab leaders that, who was friend of Iran. His father was a friend of Iran. So Iran will look at this with a lot of concern. But my guess is that Iran will try to cultivate or recultivate its influence in the region, in Syria. And I would not be surprised if Iranians would try to work something out with the new government.
What does that mean to you, Sina, recultivating the relationship? How do you anticipate that might manifest in the future?
Well, when I say recultivate, meaning that Syria has always been an issue of concern for Iranians. We know that even during the Shah of Iran tried to expand its influence in Syria. And in fact, the head of the Middle East operations of the Shah's secret agency, Savak, had pointed out that if we don't fight on the beaches of Mediterranean, we might have to fight on our own soil. So this tells you that even from the Shah's time, Iranians were concerned with Syria and what's happening in there. So my guess is that they will try to establish some sort of working relationship with the new government in Syria. They could use the issue of the Palestinians as a pretext to kind of expand their cooperation. I'm not really sure how they will do it, but again, I think that because Syria is a serious security matter to Iranians, they will not going to let go of Syria that easily, especially now that Hezbollah, which is Iran's queen in this geopolitical chess game, has been weakened, because Iran cannot easily let go of Hezbollah either.
Well, I'll just quote something for our audience from Iran's supreme leader, who described the developments in Syria as a ploy by foreign powers, including the US, and even urged Syrian youth to stand firm against those who brought about what he called insecurity in Syria. That's the sort of messaging that I suppose is not really welcome by Syria's new government.
Well, absolutely. For Iranians, security in Syria means that a Syria that is aligned with Iran, helps Iran with its operations in the Middle East. And look, from Iran's perspective, anything that happens in the region that doesn't work in favor of Iranians has the hands of the United States and Israel in it. So I'm not surprised by the comments of the Iranian supreme leader. It is certainly a pushback against Iranian interests. Again, if I'm sitting in Tehran and I'm looking at my only Arab friend in the region who helped me during the Iran-Iraq war being toppled, I will look at it with a lot of concern. And again, as I said, anything that happens in the region and Iranians don't like it, they blame the United States and the Israelis.
Thank you so much, Sina. That's Sina Azodi, who is an adjunct professor of international affairs at George Washington University.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.